Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or whatever time it is. Today, we're going to go over a balance update. I actually had no clue what to call this, but basically, I'm going to be going over all the colors, and I'm going to be telling you all the generic stuff that each color loses and what you can replace if there is a replacement for that card. Yeah, let's just get right into it, because I guess there's not much more of an intro besides that. Actually, one quick thing, if you do enjoy these videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does mean a lot. Slowly growing. Just, yeah, any sort of interaction is good. I like to see how you guys enjoy the videos. Even if you don't enjoy the video, leave a comment down below why you don't enjoy it. And, yeah, I'll move on. Cards yellow lose. I'm a yellow player, so I thought I'd start off with yellow. But these are the main 4 cards that yellow loses. By the way, I could miss some cards. The cards I am going to be talking about are mainly just like the big ones that I think of off the top of my head. Yeah, just like the ones that come straight to mind for me, at least. So Basil, Fatal, Rampage, and Bergamo were both cards that came to us in Draft Box 2, and have been a staple basically in every yellow deck since they've come out. Basil for 1 energy becomes a 19k dual attack if your opponent has 5 more cards in rest mode, which like turn 3 is pretty often because you have your opponent's leader, generally like a battle card, maybe a unison, and then a couple energies. So it's pretty common that you'll get that effect off with Basil. So 1 energy, and it replaces itself as well, so it's a very strong card. Bergamo got limited to 1, of course. For 2 energies, when one of your opponent's when one of your opponent's cards is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, play this card from your hand. So it costs 2, and you play from your hand, and when you play it, if your leader is yellow or a U9 card, when you play this card from your hand, you get to choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and or energy, ignoring barrier, and switch them to rest mode. Really cool card, being able to switch 2 of your opponent's energies to rest, or 2 of your battle cards in like their battle cards in awkward situations. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Then Swift Retaliation Cooler is the counter, of course. Negates the counter skill for 3 energy, and then you get to play the card, so Cooler becomes a body on the board. When you play this card, draw 1. Then if you have 6 more energies, you get to draw 1 more. So pretty cool. And then Vegeta's Final Flash is the yellow IAR. Activate battle if your leader is yellow. Choose up to 1 of your leader or battle cards, and it gets 15k power for the duration of the battle. If all your energy is yellow, which most yellow decks are, when you activate this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's cards, ignoring barrier, and negate its skills for the duration of the turn. Being able to negate skills for the duration of the turn is very important, and especially in the activate battle phase as well, can be very useful. Moving on though, we'll talk about the replacements to these cards. To the best of my ability, or best of my knowledge, there is no real good replacement for Basil, unfortunately, because it's just like a unique card. Every color has something very similar to Basil, but they're kind of like just like one of us all got unique, and yeah, there's no real replacement for it. So you just have to basically put anything else in that spot. You got Tyrannical Blow as a replacement for Counter Cooler, because the main reason you play Counter Cooler is to stop a floodgate for the turn, and a lot of floodgates are battle card based, and with the autos, so Tyrannical Blow can stop that. However, it is important to note 2 of the battle card floodgates that you'll be seeing in this next format are going to be Oceanus and is going to be Boo Topo, both of which Tyrannical Blow doesn't affect, because both their floodgate effects are in the counter window. It says if this card is played. So if this card is played, the effect goes off. Doesn't matter if its skills are negated. So you have to stop it from being played, and yellow doesn't really have a good way to stop cards from being played. So I guess the other card I should put in here is Mechikabura, as that's like your only other way to stop a floodgate. You can be like, okay, I'm scared of Oceanus, so you can tap 2 for Mechikabura, and that will stop them from being able to physically play the Oceanus, so the floodgate effect won't go off, which is pretty cool. Then you have Realm of the Gods, Black Kamehameha, which does replace Vegeta's Final Flash somewhat. If your leader is yellow, choose up to 1 of your cards and gets 10k power for the duration of the battle. Then, if it's your turn, you get to choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So great effect right there. That's so much just versatility in that one on this one card already. But if it's your opponent's turn, draw 1, then tap 2 of their battle cards, which is really, once again, insanely good defensive effect. So this is kind of like your extra card combo power card that Vegeta Final Flash was. However, a card that I forgot to put on the screen that I just thought of is Release from Evil. So if you need something to replace that Vegeta Final Flash in terms of you need to negate skills, because like there's a battle card or something, or a unison card that you're scared of having its skills, you can play Release from Evil, and that you can pay one to negate with Release from Evil, and the attack will still go through. However, the opponent's whatever card is attacking skills are negated for the turn, which is pretty cool. Then we've got SS Rose Goku Black Future on the line. Ignore the permanent, doesn't really matter. Auto, if your leader is yellow, when this card is played, choose one of your opponent's non-leader cards and switch it to rest. So that's battle card used in all energy. You get a switch to rest with this. Now, we don't play it for 3. We play it for 2. If you have 2 or more blue and or yellow cards in your battle area and or combat area, you can play this card from your hand or warp for 2 energy, which is really cool. So basically for 2 energy, you get to rest one of your opponent's cards, which is, it's not the best, but you get a 15k body on the board, and you get to play it from your warp, so it's kind of like draw one as well, because you don't lose it from your hand. But if it survives, you have this really cool activate main, which is send this card to its owner's warp, then you get draw one and choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it, which is a really, really good effect. So your opponent most of the time is going to want to badly clear this. However, sometimes you'll be using this to tap them out, so it's hard for them to actually clear it. So it does replace Bergamo in this UW only format. And I think its only time to shine is kind of when Bergamo is gone. Otherwise, it's a bit of an awkward card. But anyway, moving on. We'll talk about cards red loses. So these are the main ones red lose. Red doesn't actually lose too much, right? Because basically, most of these cards are semi-replaceable with stuff already in format. And I guess that's a big thing you'll see, right? So some colors lose more than others, but they have replacements for those things. The other thing I was meaning to say is I'm not going to talk about deck-specific cards. I'm just going to talk about generic cards that can put in any deck. When I go over decks later on individually, I'll go over the cards for specific archetypes that like a deck will lose, for example. But anyway, we've got Broly Crown of Retribution. If your lead is red when you play this card, if your opponent has 2 or more energy, in active mode, you get to your opponent reveals a hand and you choose one of their battle cards with 20k power or less and place it in its opponent's drop. This is really good, especially into like decks that want to play Oceanus because they need 2 energies up, or like even against yellow, because yellow leaves multiple energy up for defense every turn. So those decks will be very happy to see Broly Crown gone. Just means red has a little bit less control of what's in their opponent's hand, so they can't play around stuff as well. Because red only actually has one way to stop floodgates going into this format, which is still a little bit better than yellow. After image technique, this we don't really mind missing, except for the new U7 Goku, but it is still like a generically decent card, which is why I've got it here. It's the Sparking Negate for red, but yeah, besides U7 Goku, it's not going to be super missed, but I just thought it was a decent card to show for red. Another one I could have put in there instead was the Omen of Awakening, which is the counterplay for red. That's 20k or less, and you have to like Critter Life to play it. And it's for 1 energy if you've used a specified cost of 2. That's another one. But once again, those are for specific decks, and I guess After Image is probably a little bit more well known. But anyway, Frieza's Death Ball, same thing as the Vegeta's Final Flash. If your leader is red, choose up to one of your leader or battle cards and gets 15k power for the duration of the battle. Or if all your energy is red when you activate this card, choose up to one of your opponent's leader or battle cards and gets negative 10k power for the duration of the battle. So it is a 25k combo power card for 1 energy and 1 card in hand, which does turn the tide of a lot of like dumpings, I would say. When people go dump their hand, Frieza's Death Ball can help a lot there. However, it's not as good when people like combo up to, I guess, 25k, right? Because then you use this and, oh look, you went up to 40k, right? So it's not the best, but that's right. And then you got Champa. Every deck's gonna lose Champa. Champa Kai, same card, which would be a bit of a shame, but yeah. Now let's talk about the replacements for these cards. So to replace Broly Crown and to replace Omen of Awakening, you have Vegeta Resolve Renewed. If you have 3 or more energies, for 1 energy you can, for force the card being played if it has 15k power or less to be placed in its owner's drop instead of being played, which is pretty cool. Ignore the activate main effect because there's no Vegito leader. Oh, I guess there's one Vegito leader, but we don't play them Vegito leaders. Then you got testing opposition, which is a red counterattack. If your leader card is mono red, negate the attack, then play one Cyberman token. That token gains a blocker for the turn. And then if your life's at 5 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill by adding one card from your life to your hand instead of paying its energy cost. So this is your quote-unquote sparking negate. This is your take a life negate for red, and it has been for a while. And then we have Realm of the Gods Ultra Instinct. It is a activate battle. If your leader and all your energy are red, choose one of your cards, and it gets 10k power for the battle, then choose one. If it's your turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than their current energy, and they gain neg 30k power for the turn. So it's quite good at clearing stuff. Neg 30 will basically clear anything in the game. The only one currently, like there's some cards that in this format that have 35k power. Besides that, this will clear everything. And then if it's your opponent's turn, you get draw one and then choose one of your cards, and it gets 5k power for the battle. So on your opponent's turn, it's a 15k draw one. On your turn, it's a 10k basically kill something, which is really cool. We'll move on to what blue loses. So blue does lose a lot. It loses 2 4-ofs in every deck and tends to be an Dimension Magic. It also loses one of its ways to end the game, which I'm very, very happy it loses because I don't like Turning the Tide. Anyway, you got Turning the Tide, critical deflect. When you play this card, choose all cards in your hand and your opponent's hand, and all battle cards in your opponent's drop area, and shuffle them into their owner's deck, which sucks because it just ends the game. It doesn't matter doesn't matter what's happening. Android 17 is going to end up just ending the game, which kind of sucks. So I'm happy we're losing that. Ultra Instinct Goku Kamehameha, 15k power. If it's your turn, draw one. If it's your opponent's turn, choose one of your blue energy and switch it to act mode, which is basically just like a lot of combo power. It's a really cool card. Since being, choose one of your cards and it gains 5k power for the duration of the turn. Then choose up to 2 of your energies, which is act mode. So you end up getting an extra energy with Bean, which is really cool. Dimension Magic. If your leader card is blue, negate the attack, then choose 2 of your blue energy and switch it to active mode. So it also untaps 1, and it is a sparking negate as well if need be, which is also really, really big. And the reason blue's in a really bad spot is because only the IAR can actually be replaced. All the other cards don't have a good replacement for them whatsoever. Which is why blue's a bit rough, but it's alright. Activate battle. If your leader is blue, choose one of your cards against 10k power for the battle. Then if it's your turn, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards that energy cost greater than their current energy, place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. If it's your opponent's turn, draw one, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that energy cost 2 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So a lot of combo power, which is really nifty. Now let's talk about what green loses. So green loses a lot of cards, but I guess a lot of these cards also aren't super play. Like Surprise Tag Freeze is just a good generic card. So when you activate the skill, your opponent's battle card is KO'd in Surprise Tag Freeze that is not in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand, which is really cool. Cells Destroying Kamehameha basically rips 15k power and rips a card out of your opponent's hand. Ribrian, pay 2, send it from drop to warp, your opponent discards 2. Paragus is just a really good super combo, and Zamasu Deity's Wrath. When it attacks, choose one of your opponent's cards, one of their cards in the hand, place in the drop area, and you basically activate main to play it for 1 energy. If you have 3 or more energy, you choose a Freeze the Charismatic Villain and place it in the drop area. That's not actually what it says, but that's basically what it translates to with Freeze the Charismatic Villain in this format. So green loses a lot of good pieces, but they're not super played in every green deck, so it's a bit of an interesting spot green's in. But you do have replacements for a fair few of those cards. For example, Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha, you have Realm of the Gods Champer to replace that relatively well. Because on your turn, you get a KO something with energy cost greater than your opponent's current energy. It's your opponent's turn, you get to choose one card in the hand. Your opponent chooses one card in the hand, discards it, and then one of your cards gets 5k power. So it's pretty similar, but not the exact same. Then you got Rosie, which for an extra energy will force your opponent to discard 2 cards. So same as Red, but just 1 more energy. but it also gains triple attack, so 3 attacks, they'll generally have to discard another card or take 3 lives. So Rosie is a good, quite a good replacement, just costs that 1 extra energy. And then Great Saiyan Man, Vanquisher of Villainy, is just the bottom deck draw 2 super combo. It's basically the exact same as Paragus, except you have to bottom deck first, and it naturally has 0k combo power. So if you get Fruit Shrouded, which Fruit Shrouded isn't in this format, spoiler alert, Paragus is definitely better, but this is basically the same card as Paragus. So very, very minimalistic change. Then we'll talk about what Black loses. So Black loses Fruit Shrouded. Black doesn't play that much itself, but it mainly just goes in every other deck. But once again, it's just like Android 17. You pay 6 energy and you end the game, and it's just not... It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. I prefer grinding games where it's like every little bit matters. So yeah, don't particularly enjoy Fruit Shrouded, but that's right. Power Burst is a Black Spark in the gate. You get to add a battle card with the energy cost of 1. Black power card with energy cost 1 for drop or warp to your hand when you negate with it, and sparking you of course can take a life instead of paying the energy cost for it. Koitsukai Mechanical Courage, activate main for 1 energy, removes this card from drop to the warp, shoot up to 2 cards in your hand, place them bottom deck, and then draw the number of cards that you bottom decked. For the remainder of the turn, if your opponent play a battle card with 20k power or less, they choose 2 cards from the hand and warp them to, that's kind of the cost of playing them, which is pretty cool. So Koitsukai, really good card, stops people from playing stuff on your turn unless they want to play a massive attack. So it's a bit of a shame it's gone, but it also allows people to play their game style more, which is good as well. So it's a bit of a 50-50 one, right? And Super Kamehameha, if your leader is black and your life's at 4 or less, the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less and sent to its owner's warp. It's sent to its owner's warp instead of being played. Permanent, if you only have black cards in your energy and your life's at 4 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding a card from your life to your hand instead of paying its energy cost, which is pretty cool. The cards that replace this, we finally get our blocker negate for black, which is pretty cool. So if your life's at 5 or less, yeah, it's the blocker negate. Same thing, it's got 5k power, 5k combo power. So some of them had 10k combo power, 10k power and 0k combo power, but this is a 5/5, which is cool. A little bit of extra combo power. And then we have Rebellion Hammer to replace Super Kamehameha. If your leader is black and you send 3 cards from your drop to your warp, and the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played permanent. If you have 12 more black cards in your warp, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it's better negate, and it's live from like turn 3 and go G to Xeno for 1 energy. It's a bit of an interesting one, can't take a life for it, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is a very solid replacement for Super Kamehameha. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. This is my breakdown of what each color loses and its best replacements for it. If I missed anything, please let me know down below, because I'm definitely, there's definitely stuff I probably would have missed. I'll probably be going over some decks very shortly and go over in each of those decks a bit more what like your old list would look like and what cards each deck in particular loses and how I'm going about replacing those. But this is kind of like your generic thing, so you know if you're going to build a deck for yourself and you realize that, oh, this card is not in format, hopefully you find some good replacements here. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.